Audio Jungle.
Hello and welcome to my channel. This is part one of my home and houseplant tour. Part one is going to be the living room. I'm going to go room by room, and there's two reasons for that. One is so that I can tidy up each room as we go, and the second is because I do not want the videos to run too long. So we're going to do a quick pan of the living room as it is now, and then I'm going to go area by area into more detail and talk about the changes we're making and the plants in that area. So this is our front door. This little area is what you first see when you come into our home. I do not like how enclosed and kind of claustrophobic it is. And as you can see, we didn't extend the flooring that we put down all the way into this room. And the reason for that is because we actually want to tear out these walls, just the walls framing the door here. And rather than having a closet, which the closet currently looks terrible, it houses all of my husband's AV equipment for our TV and our home automations, and I'm not sure what systems that all is. Babe, do you want to chime in there? Nope, okay. We also have our coats, so come look at the closet a little bit more so I can talk about what we're doing. As I mentioned, we're taking out these walls, and what we're going to do is do a bench with some cubbies at the bottom, and then I want to do kind of like a beadboard or a shiplap backing, so either vertical or horizontal panels, attach hooks, and have more storage space on the top. And what that will do is create a more welcoming entryway, as well as not have the space feel so claustrophobic. So coming around, this is my propagation tank. I put cuttings in here that I'm trying to propagate, and also plants that I'm rehabbing. When I get something a little more rare, I'll usually toss it into this tank. Looking at the stand, I recently refinished this. This is, I believe, a 50-gallon tank, and the stand was black and had no handles, so I painted it teal. And then I used stencils to spray paint gold leaves as well as a jaguar. There are decals on the sides as well, and also I spray painted these handles gold and attached them. There were no handles before. So that is our 6-month-old who is currently pooping in her bouncer. So a little bit about this tank real quick before I talk about the plants in here. This light on top is excellent for plants. It's excellent for plant growth as well as aquariums, which I think is what it's actually intended for. I can include a link to this light. I got it off of Amazon. It was a bit pricey. It was about $75. I'll include a link in the description on this video. The most important thing for plant growth when it comes to lighting is its Kelvin rating. So what you want is ideally a 6,500 Kelvin rating for plants. A lot of things are marketed as plant grow lights, and most of that is actually kind of a scam. They'll have, a lot of plants do absorb different wavelengths of light better than others. What you really want is the Kelvin rating. A lot of people will have those pink, kind of purple grow lights that are terrible to look at, and if those don't have a decent light output, it's not going to matter what color the light is. So moving on, I'm going to talk about my propagation tank a little bit. So on the top, to keep in humidity and also heat, because a greenhouse effect does occur in here from the lights, the inside of the tank will warm up. This is plexiglass from Lowe's. It was very cheap. The pieces I needed, I wanted two that were equal sized rather than one large piece, so I could open certain ends of the tank or open half of the tank so that I can get in there. And since they were so small, they did actually give them to me for like $3 for each total for each of these sheets, because they could use scrap. They didn't have to cut a new sheet. So I originally set up this tank to propagate begonias. So most of what you will see in here are begonias. I do also have highly variegated cuttings that I took from my philodendron silver stripe. So the Gabby philodendron that Gabriella's plants cells. It is a sport variegation, so it's a plant created from very variegated pieces of the silver stripe. I'm kind of creating my own version of the Gabby just for my collection, with that'll be composed of highly variegated cuttings. Here I have my Begonia chlorinura. I absolutely love this begonia. It's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, begonias that I have. I think it's very visually striking, and it's very unique as well. And it has flowered for me quite a bit. So, and I've tried to self-pollinate it. So we will see if I end up getting any seeds from these female flowers. As I mentioned when looking at the rumba begonia, the female flowers on the chlorinura also have that sort of fin. This is an alocasia. It's Alocasia Tiny Dancers. Back here I have an Anthurium veitchii. He's a little tiny baby. Came in a 2-inch pot, and this guy cost me $50, but I'm excited to see him grow. Here I got this as a free leaf cutting. This is a Begonia chlorosticta. I got this from a very generous person in my local plant group, and he also gave me a leaf cutting of Begonia melanobolata. So called because of all of the bullae or blisters that occur on the leaf. So this chlorosticta does have roots, but I do not see any new leaves yet. And this melanobolata, I need to root the leaf as well. These little tiny cuttings are the variegated syngonium. This is a leaf cutting of a chao or a chio. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. And I do have a Begonia pavonina over here with, actually it looks like 3 separate divisions, and I propagated this from a single leaf cutting I got from a friend. So hers, however, her mother plant did die. She had her heater go out in the winter and it passed away. So I kind of like to joke that giving friends cutting is plant insurance. So I'm going to gift her a division of the pavonina when there is a decent sized division to give. These are propagations from single leaf cuttings of a Begonia decochex. Here is my Begonia listata. I have not had this one very long, but I did already divide it and give a piece to a friend of mine. Listata is one that she's been after for a while, so it's always exciting when you can gift someone a plant that they are excited about. Sliding these over and moving to the other side of the tank. There's my Begonia chao or chio. There's another leaf propagation. I've taken off 2 of its largest leaves. It won't hurt the plant overall because it's doing really well. It has plenty of leaves. But I want to try to get a couple divisions of that as quickly as possible. So taking large leaves is the best way to do that. Here I have a Begonia Italian ice. I have 2, no, I only see 1. I have a leaf cutting of that as well that I'm propagating. Here is a jewel orchid. I think it's Macotes petola. I will check on that and include a caption for it. I have another division of that over here. I snipped that off and I'm rooting it to give to another friend. These are my latest additions. It is a rehab Philodendron postizanum as well as a rehab Philodendron gloriosum. I got these Today is Saturday and I got these on Thursday. So I got these 2 days ago. But I'm very excited to watch them grow. The Pastizanum especially, I think, has a lot of potential because it has a very chunky stem, and it has two nodes on it. There's one and there's one that I'm expecting to put up a growth point as well. The Gloriosum just has this. But I have been wanting these two for a while, and because they're in pretty rough shape, I got a great deal on them. So I will make a video updating on those at some point in the future. We're really fortunate that we have a lot of large west-facing windows in this house, which is great for all of my plants. And just as a quick little note, this room does not have that many plants in it. So as we go to other parts of this grouping of videos, you'll get to see more plants. So these curtains, they are paint drop cloths, and I cut them up and sewed them, which some people enjoy sewing. I do not. I do it out of necessity for cost savings. So there was a lot of cursing involved in making these, and they don't look that great. What I want to do is replace these with actually a shower curtain that I found on Amazon. It looks like this. I'm going to pop a picture into there. Or maybe just delete that whole bit. Yeah. I'll include a link to these curtains in the description as well. But they will be white with some black designs and tassels on them. I have a cactus and a flapjack succulent just sitting on this ledge temporarily. Eventually I want all of my cacti and succulents to be in the same area, which will be in the kitchen window. So looking into the corner, I got a 5 set of macrame hangers off of Amazon for, it was either 20 or 25 bucks, somewhere in there. These are all pretty common houseplants. Most of you probably have them. I have an Epiprimum aureum, Enjoy. And just real quick, what I'm going to try to do is mention the scientific name of each plant. The scientific name consists of the genus and the species. And then I'm also going to mention the cultivar, or the certain variety of that plant. So this is Epiprimum aureum Enjoy. Moving below, I don't actually know how to identify Tradescantia very well. I believe this is a Tradescantia fluminensis tricolor. If I'm incorrect about that, please let me know. I would like to have a better ID on all of my Tradescantia. Just a quick note, fluminensis is based on the Latin word river. And I think the insis ending, insis suffix, if you will, in plant names indicates where it was discovered or the area that it appears naturally that it was named for. So I'm assuming this means that it was found in the wild by a river. And then moving down, we have my Alocasia amazonica poly. This is a very common houseplant. Some people say they're finicky. I think they're pretty low maintenance. I will admit though that the stem is very nice and firm and large, but this hasn't put out a new leaf in a very long time. I have 2 plants that I divided from an original mother plant, and they've had 2 leaves that looked exactly the same for about a year now. And while that's not, I think they would put out more leaves if I had an airier soil mix. Moving on to this wall, we have our TV wall mounted. My husband is very handy when it comes to electronics and building things, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. These vases that I have on both sides, everything in there is faux. It's purely decorational. I keep considering getting rid of these and just having all live plants in front of this wall. But I like the color that these add. I like how the purple plays into the theme of the rest of the room. I recently got this from Home Depot. It's a Ficus elastica burgundy, commonly called a rubber tree. I recently got this. It's a domino peace lily. I got it for $5 from another member of one of my local plant communities. So I was very excited to find this because I had been wanting a variegated peace lily for a while. So now I have that and I'm excited for it to be a little more full. This is a temporary kind of storage solution. My husband is going to build a floating shelving unit so that we can take all that stuff that you just saw in the closet and kind of put it here and hide it. But it's not actually all going to end up on this wall, and I'll mention our future plans for this room in a minute. So moving around, this is our dog. He has many names, but he usually is called Iggy. We have a Philodendron heteraceum silver stripe, and then we also have a Begonia rex rumba. So, and that is flowering. I believe something kind of interesting about the rumba, and I'll show some leaf detail a bit more shortly, is that I believe the female flowers on these plants have kind of like a fin, which I find to be super cool, and I'm not sure if all begonias do that. Moving on, I got these posters from Society 6. I wanted to have something that was, I actually previously had a gallery wall of pinup girls, vintage pinup ladies on this wall, and it didn't really fit in with the theme, and also my husband's family kept making kind of like comments about it. So those had to go. One mentioned that she didn't mind them, but she can't bring her kids over. So I got these posters from Society 6, and as you can see, they kind of like fell down in the frames a little bit. I need to get frames that are the correct size or some little rubber stoppers to hold them in place. These frames are from IKEA. I don't like to spend a crap load on frames, so I want to either get them from IKEA or Amazon or a thrift store because the prices are better. But IKEA doesn't have a frame size for these posters. Most of our home is smart. We have Google Homes all over, and we have the Nest thermostats. This is our coffee table. My husband did build this. I have a candle sitting on here and an African violet. African violets are great for low maintenance plants that flower frequently and abundantly and inject some color into a scene. As I mentioned, I like to try to find a good deal on things, or if I think something is too expensive for what it is, I won't buy it. So we end up building quite a bit of our furniture because that's the only way that we can sometimes get what I want for a reasonable price. So this is just, you can buy these legs at Lowe's or Home Depot, 2x4s supporting it, and then this is one solid sheet. And so this was all just stained and sealed after it was assembled, and makes a great coffee table. So I have a, what is this called, an orchard basket, an apple basket full of my throw pillows. I would buy more throw pillows if I didn't already have so much. I know craft stores like Joann's and Hobby Lobby have throw pillows with jaguars and things on them, which I want, but I already have enough, so I have to kind of like slap my own hands on that. But this is a great way for, we do use our throw pillows, but not all of them at once, so this is a great way to store the excess. I have a basket wall. These I got all of these from the thrift store. Some of them I spray painted to have a little more variation in the wall. And this is a string of pearls just in a small pot. So I actually took paper clips and cut them and used pliers to attach them because I didn't want this pot falling out. It might be able to sit there without it, but I didn't want to risk that falling and making a mess and breaking. So we have a little Roomba here, which the Roombas are great for maintaining a reasonable status of your floors. They're not extremely thorough as you would be when you're cleaning your own floors, but when you have as many plants as I do, a baby, a cat, and a dog, it's nice to not have your house look like a mess if you don't vacuum every single day. So this is a vintage dresser vanity. I actually grew up with this. And I was thinking about refinishing it, updating it, and painting it. However, I decided not to. I just cleaned it up. I may try to refinish it one day, but keep kind of a vintage distressed look. But I think it's fine for how it is now. And then I have two Dracaena marginata, just kind of decorating this area. So that's the status of now, and now I'm just going to briefly go over the changes we want to make in this room. Our plans for this room are to kind of open it up a bit more. So what we want to do is take our sofa and put it against this wall with the chaise longue against that wall, and wall mount the TV there. So my husband already has plans to build a behind the sofa shelf, which will span the entire length of this wall, as well as come out with a little side table to go around the armrest so we can set drinks or remotes or whatever on it. And I also would like a shelf that spans the length of the wall up higher, and my plan is to put plants on the shelf behind the sofa and have trailing plants hanging down. We're discussing some shelving for this wall for plants as well, so I will be removing my macrame hangers. But I'm not exactly sure how I want those shelves laid out yet, or how I want them positioned. So we'll discuss that further down the road. We're also going to rotate this rug, which I also got on Amazon. It's an 8x10 rug, I believe. And I'll include a link for this in the description as well. We're going to rotate this rug 90 degrees so that there is not any rug along this walkway, but that it'll extend further towards this wall, so it creates more of a continuous space when we move the TV. The last change that we still need to make in this room is we need to take down the popcorn ceiling. The front entryway did have popcorn ceiling, and so did our kitchen and one of our bathrooms. That has all been removed, but we didn't in here. We have kind of a bad habit as we're going through and updating our house to not completely finish anything and move on to a new project. My husband's giving me the eyes because that's mostly me. So we will remove this, paint the ceiling, and update the ceiling fan. We're going to put in here the same ceiling fan we have in our bedroom. And in doing that, we're also going to touch up our painting along our trim at the top of the room, and probably have to touch up the walls as well. That's it for part 1 of my video. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time as I go through the kitchen.